The MAGA movement, created and propelled by Donald Trump, is facing significant internal turmoil. While Trump rode the wave of MAGA fervor into the presidency, recent developments show cracks in the movement as his supporters grow increasingly disillusioned with both his actions and those of congressional Republicans. This discord has been exacerbated by Trump's endorsement of Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House, sparking outrage among the MAGA faithful who view Johnson as a sellout and part of the political swamp they hoped Trump would drain. Donald Trump's political capital has always been rooted in his ability to command loyalty from his base, but that loyalty is now being tested. His decision to back Mike Johnson, a move intended to solidify Republican control and advance his legislative agenda, has instead triggered backlash. Trump's social media post calling Johnson a fine man of great ability was met with criticism from prominent MAGA supporters who see Johnson as compromised, pro-Ukraine, and insufficiently committed to Trump's America First vision. One MAGA supporter voiced frustration, accusing Johnson of prioritizing Ukraine over America and labeling him a pawn of Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Another commenter criticized Johnson for bringing a 1,500-page spending bill to the floor, calling it a betrayal of conservative values. Many others expressed disappointment over Johnson's votes on FISA surveillance and his perceived failure to release January 6 footage, further eroding trust in his leadership. These grievances underscore a broader dissatisfaction within the MAGA movement. While Trump positioned himself as a disruptor of the political establishment, many of his supporters now see him as accommodating the very system they opposed. Complaints about Trump's endorsements and policies reflect a growing belief that he has abandoned the hardline, anti-establishment stance that initially energized his base. The internal divisions within MAGA highlight the challenge Trump faces in maintaining unity while navigating the complexities of governance. His endorsement of Johnson may have been a pragmatic attempt to stabilize the House and push through key policies, but it has instead deepened skepticism among his supporters. This skepticism threatens to undermine Trump's influence as he seeks to implement his agenda and rally Republicans behind his leadership. Adding fuel to the fire, many MAGA supporters feel Trump is not delivering on core issues such as immigration, border security, and economic nationalism. Critics point to his willingness to compromise on issues like H-1B visas and foreign aid as evidence that he is out of touch with the movement's priorities. This perception is compounded by the failure of the 118th Congress to pass meaningful legislation, leaving many MAGA supporters disillusioned with the Republican establishment. The frustrations expressed online reflect a broader trend of discontent within the movement. Prominent MAGA voices have accused Trump of selling out to the establishment, with some even questioning whether he remains the leader they once believed in. Others have called for a more radical approach to reforming government, emphasizing the need to purge perceived rhinos, Republicans in name only, and prioritize America First policies. Despite these challenges, Trump remains a dominant figure within the Republican Party. However, the backlash against his endorsement of Mike Johnson suggests his grip on the MAGA movement may be weakening. This erosion of support could have significant implications for his ability to rally Republicans in Congress and push through his legislative agenda. The dissatisfaction with Johnson extends beyond his policies to concerns about his ability to stand up to Democrats. MAGA supporters view him as too willing to compromise, citing his cooperation with Democrats to pass funding bills and his failure to take a hardline stance on issues like immigration and border security. These criticisms reflect a broader frustration with the Republican leadership, which many MAGA supporters see as ineffective and out of touch. The rule changes implemented after Kevin McCarthy's ousting as Speaker have also played a role in shaping MAGA's response. With a higher threshold now required to challenge the Speaker, critics feel the new system makes it harder to hold leaders accountable and push through conservative priorities. This has only deepened the sense of betrayal among MAGA supporters, who feel their voices are being ignored. Trump's endorsement of Johnson was likely motivated by a desire to maintain stability and advance his legislative priorities, but it has instead exposed fault lines within the MAGA movement. Many supporters see Johnson as emblematic of the political establishment they hope to dismantle, and Trump's backing of him has left them questioning his commitment to their cause. The reaction to Trump's endorsement highlights the challenges he faces in maintaining the loyalty of his base while navigating the realities of governance. As the 2024 election approaches, Trump will need to address these concerns and reassure his supporters that he remains committed to the America First agenda. The broader implications of this discontent are significant. If Trump is unable to unite his base, it could weaken his ability to push through key policies and rally support in Congress. Moreover, it could create opportunities for other Republicans to challenge his leadership and position themselves as the true champions of the MAGA agenda. At the same time, the divisions within MAGA underscore the difficulty of maintaining a coalition that includes diverse factions with differing priorities. From economic nationalists to cultural conservatives and libertarians, the MAGA movement encompasses a wide range of views, and keeping these factions aligned will be a major challenge for Trump and his allies. The response to Trump's endorsement of Johnson also reflects broader dissatisfaction with the Republican Party. Many MAGA supporters feel the party has failed to deliver on key promises and is more focused on maintaining power than advancing conservative principles. This dissatisfaction has fueled calls for a more aggressive approach to reforming government and holding leaders accountable. Ultimately, the backlash against Trump's endorsement of Mike Johnson highlights the challenges he faces in maintaining unity within the MAGA movement and advancing his agenda. As the 2024 election approaches, Trump will need to address these concerns and demonstrate that he remains committed to the principles that brought him to power. The future of the MAGA movement remains uncertain. While Trump continues to enjoy strong support among many Republicans, the growing discontent within his base could complicate his efforts to maintain control and push through his agenda. Whether he can overcome these challenges and reassert his leadership remains to be seen. For now, the MAGA movement appears to be at a crossroads. The backlash against Johnson and the broader dissatisfaction with the Republican Party suggest that many supporters are looking for new leadership and a renewed commitment to conservative principles. Whether Trump can meet these expectations and unite his base will be a key factor in determining the future of the MAGA movement and the Republican Party as a whole.